Hi everyone, Jothany Newtano here, internet's busiest copycat. One of my goals at the start of this year, 2023, was to listen to 52 new albums. And well, golly gee if I didn't go and do just that. So not only am I going to tell you what they are, but I'm going to rank them and tell you a couple of my thoughts for each one. Now, some of my opinions might rustle a few jimmies, but if that isn't what the internet is for, then I don't know what is. At the bottom of the list, number 52 is Kiss with Destroyer. This was so repetitive and cringy and boring and just plodded along. I was really expecting something a bit more from this, considering how highly people talk about Kiss. At number 51, we have Slowthai with Ugly. I did not enjoy this album at all. I didn't like the sound. I thought the guy's voice was just like really whiny, like just a whiny little dude. At number 50 is Lingua Ignota with Caligula. Now this is a weird one because like she is obviously going for this very specific crushing and depressing and sad sound, and she does a really good job of achieving that, but it was not a happy listen. I did not enjoy this at all. I mean, her voice is great, but like, I just don't want to listen to this ever again. And number 49 is Walk Off the Earth with Revo. Just generic, upbeat stuff. This was like perfect for teenagers who like songs which sound like they mean something, but they don't mean anything. And number 48 is Young Fathers with Cocoa Sugar. This must be like the most mid album out of everything that I listened to, because I could not tell you a single thing about this album at all. Like I couldn't even tell you what genre it was. I don't remember anything from it. And number 47 is Daughters with You Won't Get What You Want. Now, similar to Caligula, they are trying to go for a certain sound, and they do really well at achieving this sound, this horrible, depressing, sad sound. I just don't want to listen to it again. I couldn't really tell what the guy was saying, but I don't know if that was intentional or not, so it would like, add to the vibe of just, sadness. Number 46 is Charlotte Adigéry and Boris Poupil with Tropical Dancer. This really didn't do anything for me. Maybe if I was in a different mood or different state of mind, then I would quite enjoy it, but not today. Number 45 is LCD Soundsystem with This Is Happening. The instrumentation, the tracks, the beats were really good. I really wasn't a fan of the vocals or lyrics. All that aside, the first track on this album is fantastic. Number 44 is Mobb Deep with The Infamous. People seem to regard this one as a classic, but I really don't understand why. All the tracks like merged together. It was kind of slow. I mean, the beats were good. I was just a bit underwhelmed. Number 43 is Boards of Canada with Music Has the Right to Children. Glitchy ambience, strange vibes. It had some moments, but I really wasn't digging it at all. Number 42, DJ Khaled with Major Key. This guy is like a parody of himself. It had like a bop or two, but all the tracks merged together. The only time I knew there was a different track was when DJ Khaled told me himself that it was another one. At number 41, we have 100 gecs with 10,000 gecs. The notes I wrote here after listening to it read, Fun Noise, I prefer their previous album. Coming in at number 40 is Slash with Slash. The guitar solos on here are pretty excellent. I wish I could say the same about the songs. At 39, we have Bad Bunny with Oasis. I forgot to write down my thoughts after listening to this album, but I remember enjoying it. Number 38 is Taylor Swift's Red. Taylor's version, if that counts for anything. Yeah, it's pretty good. Not great. I think I'd really like this album a lot more if I was going through a breakup or something. I also wrote here, Stay, Stay, Stay sounds like what you'd get if you search upbeat royalty-free music on YouTube. At number 37, we have Janelle Monáe with Age of Pleasure. This felt a bit different to her other stuff, but at the end of the day, it's Janelle Monáe, so her voice is going to be absolutely phenomenal. At number 36, we have Peter Hamill's Silent Corner of the Empty Stage. I think you really have to be in the mood for this. It's very dramatic vocals and very dramatic piano. At number 35, we have Casey Musgraves with Golden Hour. It had a rather pleasant country sound. I feel like you'd play this in the park on like a summer's day. And number 34 is MF Doom with Born Like This. I really like MF Doom. That being said, I have only listened to Mad Villainy and Food, and this album is definitely the weakest out of those three. It was still good, but I wasn't vibing as much with this. Number 33 is Basako Koyete with I Speak Fula. This is just lovely, lovely vocals, lovely instrumentation. This would be a really good album to put on if you were going on a long car journey, I think. At number 32, we have Natalia Lafourcade with De Todas las Flores. Las Flores, sorry. It's a lovely album, really. Very laid back, great voice. At number 31, we have Remy Wolf's Juno. Fun, funky, fresh, great personality. Good album. Number 30 is Rodriguez with Cold Fact. Really wasn't digging the instrumentation in this one, but low-key some of the best lyrics written in any of the albums that I've listened to this year. At number 29, we have the Meridian Brothers with Meridian Brothers and El Grupo Renacimiento. Man, if you like salsa, then you're gonna love this. At number 28, we have Miles Davis with A Kind of Blue. Man, if you like jazz, then you're gonna love this. At number 27, we have Gorillaz with Song Machine. Yeah, it was alright. Had a handful of bangers, but a lot of the tracks kind of like merged together again for me. Coming in at the halfway point at number 26 is Black Country New Road with Ants From Up There. I've got no idea why, but I was expecting a hip-hop album before I listened to this, but it's a very intense album. A great mix of instruments on this, but I wasn't that into the vocals. At number 25, we have Olivia Rodrigo with Guts. Basically modern pop punk. Give it a shot, you'll enjoy it. And coming in at number 24, we've only bloody well got Death Grips with Money Store, haven't we? Death Grips became a bit of a meme for me. I think a few years ago I'd heard one of their tracks and the absolute visceral noise and just, and I was put off. So I figured I'd listen to one of their albums this year, and well, goodness me, if the noise hasn't won me over somewhat. More hits than misses on this album. I think the music industry needs more of whatever this is that Death Grips are doing. At number 23, we have Silvana Estrada with Marchita. I think this was the first album that I listened to this year. It's a very gentle album. Great vocals, short and sweet. It was very, very laid back. At number 22, we have The Weeknd with After Hours. Like, the lyrics don't really mean anything and doesn't tell any stories or anything like that, but like the tracks themselves, I had a lot of fun listening to this. Guess it goes to show that not all art has to mean something. Number 21, we have Tenacious D with Rise of the Phoenix. I mean, this is just a great album. I enjoyed the stupid skits. Some really great songs on this album. Yeah, had a lot of fun. At number 20, we have JPEG Mafia with Scaring the Hoes. This album is intense as heck, fantastic beats, felt like I needed a run after this. At number 19, we have An Unkindness with 10 Years. This album is melancholic as heck, fantastic lyricism, felt like I needed to sit down after this. Coming in at number 18 is Coast Contra with Apartment 505. Strange listening to these guys' studio work, considering I've only ever really heard their freestyle stuff. Yeah, it's pretty good, had some good hits on there, but like their freestyle stuff, oof. You need to check that out. For number 17, we have No Name with Room 25. Smooth and funky. I love the vibe of this album. Her voice and her bars are so great, and like everything just complements each other really well. At number 16, we have Kiro Kiro Bonito with Bonito Generation. Cheerful, catchy, cute. It's just a very nice and fun album. At number 15, we have Domi and JD Beck with Not Tight. This album's like laid back, but not. It's like fast, relaxing music. Some of the features though: Thundercat, Snoop, Busta, Herbie Hancock. At 14, we have Beyonce with Renaissance. Absolute vibes from Queen Bee here. You don't need me to tell you how great Beyonce is. Number 13 is Wu-Tang Clan with Enter the Wu-Tang 36 Chambers. Just textbook, vicious, old school hip hop. They bring the ruckus. At number 12, we have Kirby with Sis. Not that Kirby. Short and sweet, a very sexy, funky album. Put this on in the evening when you've got some friends round and a couple of drinks going, you know. And just short of the top 10, coming in at number 11 is Andre 3000 with New Blue Sun. I mean, I liked it. Got some really bold track names on this one. For those of you who aren't familiar with Andre 3000, he was half of Outkast and considered by many people to be one of the greatest rappers to ever do it. Anyway, he goes away for like 17 years and comes back with a freaking Flu album. Now, kicking off the top 10 is Petrol Girls with Baby. This is one of the first few albums that I listened to this year, and I rated it quite high. So before I started this video, I went back to listen to it to see if it still held up, and oh my God, does it hold up. Punky, punchy, powerful, super badass album, great fun. The energy is so infectious. Check them out. And number 9 is Tricot with 3. I super like Japanese rock, and this was certainly that. I had tracks from this album in my head for ages. Any one of these tracks from this album could easily be a shonen anime OP, so naturally this is very much up my street. At number 8, we have Nujabes with Model Soul. I came across Nujabes a few years ago, and I completely fell in love with his work. I really feel like he pioneered what we call lo-fi today, a really great blend of jazz and hip-hop. I've seen a few like TikToks or Reels or whatever which use some of his tracks as background music, so odds are you've probably heard some of his stuff too. Go check this guy out if you're into lo-fi hip-hop beats to do your homework to. You won't be disappointed. At number 7, we have the Beatles with Revolver. I only started listening to the Beatles a couple years ago, and yeah, they're pretty great. This is actually the first full album of theirs that I've listened to. It's just such a short and sweet it's just really good. My favorite track on here was For No One. I don't know where that lands in the general kind of Beatles consensus of, good blah. Number 6 is On the Tropica with Bale Bucanero. Such a great energetic album. On the Tropica are fantastic. They fuse traditional Latin American music with ska, rap, reggae, dub, all sorts. Back-to-back bangers on this one. If you put this album on in the morning while you're making your breakfast, you will have a skip in your step the entire day. Coming in at number 5 is 2814 with Birth of a New Day. Such a thick, atmospheric album. I almost feel bad calling music atmospheric because it sounds like it's code for background music, but this sounds like it would fit right at home in like Blade Runner, Cyberpunk, Ghost in the Shell. Put this on a rainy night and close your eyes and just be, Number 4 is Bjork with Vespertine. I've been told to check out Bjork stuff for a while now, and I don't know why. I just had the feeling I wouldn't really be into it, so I kept putting it off. I wish I didn't put it off. This is really good. I feel like she is way ahead of her time. Considering this album was released in 2001, you could probably be fooled into thinking that this was released in 2021. It's like mesmerizing sounds, her strange little voice, and glitchy, weird, like ambient stuff. Highly recommend this one. Number 3 is Tyler, the Creator with Igor. Such a great, passionate album. Like, who hurt you, Tyler? Who hurt you? His sound is so interesting. The last track, Are We Still Friends, is so emotional. Like he's asking this question over and over again into the void and not getting a response. So sad and powerful, and yeah, very, very emotional album. Really, really good. Number 2 is Kendrick Lamar with Untitled Unmastered. This is prime Kendrick doing what he does best, so it's fantastic. It's essentially To Pimp a Butterfly, but more, so that means like jazzy, funky, the drums, and This isn't like his other projects because these are like offcuts, tracks which didn't make the other albums, but it's still fantastic. There's no like through narrative or whatever like you'd find on Good Kid, Mad City or To Pimp a Butterfly. Consider this like a really great sample of Kendrick at his best. And so, number 1, my favorite album which I listened to this entire year is Lil Simz, Sometimes I Might Be Introvert. I adore this album. I love her flow, the instrumentals, the story she tells throughout the whole album. I even like the weird little interlude tracks. She doesn't sacrifice her sound for lyrical content or vice versa. 2 of my favorite tracks from this are Fear No Man and Little Q Part 2. It slaps. This album slaps so hard. It's really great. Really, really great. I'm hesitant to call her the next Kendrick because 1, that's like a really high bar and a lot of pressure to put on someone, but 2, it also like robs her of her identity. And as cheesy as it sounds, she's not the next female Kendrick Lamar. She is the first Lil Simz. And you should absolutely check out this album. And that's it. All the albums I listened to this year. Hope you enjoyed it. Probably won't be listening to 52 albums next year, but I might keep track of them and I might rate them or something. Who knows? Only one thing left to do, and that is transition. Did you love it? Did you hate it? What did you think? Ring the bell. Please don't cry. You're the best. You're the best. I don't remember what else he says. Bye.